What's up, everyone? I'm back with my second RGG plot tutorial. Today I'll be going over scraping tables off of basketball reference or footballreference.com for basketball or soccer or football data. And then I'll be showing you how to create scatter plots in ggplot. Uh, I hope everyone enjoyed the first one. It's kind of tough for me doing my first tutorial ever. I'm not qualified as like a teacher or anything. Kind of just showing everyone what like I've kind of learned in my classes and kind of self-taught. So if I don't explain everything or anything well enough or the correct terminology, I can feel free to reach out. But hopefully, I'm doing a good job. I'm hoping everyone's liking them. I've seen a few people use them already, so that's always awesome to see. But I'm not gonna waste any more time, so we'll get into it. I'm going to share my screen. And so here is how, let me move this a little bit to the bottom. Okay, so here's how football reference is set up. We got stats. This is the Premier League page. And then we're going to scrape the NBA. Whoops, sneak peek of what we'll be doing. But we got my laptop's freezing. Okay, I'll show you how we do the NBA one. So these how they're set up. We'll be scraping this league table, and then all the way at the bottom, we'll be scraping advanced data for the NBA. We'll be doing teams. So basically, how these websites, at least sports reference websites, are set up are HTML documents. And if you press in Mac, right click, and then it's spec, you can kind of see. It definitely looks like a bunch of. It's confusing, definitely confusing. I still don't understand it 100%, but kind of figure out a little bit how to find where they're located at. So if you're on a Mac, if you press this, we can select any element and it'll show up on the right side. Sometimes it's a little touchy, but we can also do this to where, I don't know what this is. Okay, here we go. On table. All right, so if we press it again, there we go. Let's see, scroll down. So there's everything. All right, see there, it's lit up now. So if we scroll over, there we go. So this is basically where all the advanced stats is located. If we scroll through, okay, so there's where the table is. Open it up again, and there's the table. So basically, that's not how we're going to do it, but that's just kind of showing you how the websites are set up. Same thing for this football one. So if we get over to R now, here's all the packages that we are going to need. We'll load those. I have the installed ones commented out just because I already have them installed, but that's what you'll run if you don't. So we'll go the NBA. They're both very similar. I'll go through both, and then we'll only do one example of scatter plot just because they're the same thing, just different data. So the first thing we want to do is store the URL in an item or object that we'll name it URL just to keep it simple. So all you do is copy paste, and then it's the same one. So I'll just show you, copy paste it in there. So we will run that, and that saves over to the right in our environment. So now we have the URL in an object, and then next we will use the read HTML function that is from rvest, I believe, this package, and it will read this URL document. And then as.dataframe equals true because we want it in a data frame form. So if we read that, and then we'll send it back into full table, which is just what I named it. It'll read back as an object again, or this one will be a data frame. So if we run that, well, we get the list. We get basically what we were just looking at, the little drop down thing of the whole HTML document. So next we need to use rvest, the package again, for HTML nodes, which is basically runs through the document and finds each and every node. which we can check it out. Inspect it. So basically, here we go. So here's the shooting stats. And the node is, you know what, my laptop's taking too long to load. We'll skip that. But so we have our full table. We will pipe it into HTML nodes, and then we type in quotation table. So what this will do is run through this HTML document, which is from the soccer page, soccer reference, football reference. So if we run this, it pulls all the tables that are located on that page. And there you can see there's 24 tables. So it's a lot. We kind of want to figure out what we want to use. So we want to use the first table, right? If you go back, we want this league table because we're going to compare expected goals and expected goals allowed from last year's Premier League season. So what this next command does, you can tell the environment which table to pull. So we want this first table, which is the results overall. It's kind of funky at first. You can kind of play with it and see what it does. I just learned from trial and error. So it pulls that all the nodes from that that table. So you have the caption, the column groups, the headings, the body, and then you pipe that again into HTML table, which is a command that basically takes all of that and turns it into the table that we want. And then fill equals true. So you can see here, there it is, nice and neat. So then we can send that back into what we will call, I'll call it Prem just for Premier League. That way we can look at it as a full table. There we go, Prem, click on it, move myself again. There we go, all nice and neat. Got our data ready, and that's it. I'll go through the NBA one real quick. Very similar. Same thing, store the URL, run it again as full table. And then this one, I'll just run this to show you. Full table, pull out all the nodes that are classified as tables because we want the tables. I'll show you what it looks like without choosing the 11th table. So there's 13 tables on the NBA page that we chose. And we want the advanced stats. So if we go down here, here's the advanced team stats located in the 11th table. Once again, just type in the 11th HTML fill, and I will send that back into what I would say ADV for advanced stats. So this one reads in a little bit funky. This is where we'll have to clean it up a little bit. So we got columns with NA values, and we have the first row with which are our headings that we need. Because as you can see on this web, on the page, it's a little messed up. It's got this first column, second column, and we need this second column as our headers or as our columns. So what we can do is, so this command makes row to names, and we choose the first row, which is here, and we'll send it back right into the same object, ADV advanced. That will clean it up. All right, now we need next one. See, oh yeah, okay. So we have, what is that? So we have 2 effective field goal percentage, which one is offense, one is defense. Okay, and we can't have the same columns name the same thing. It'll mess up when we go to plot. So this little line basically says, take all the columns of our advanced data frame and make them unique. And then we'll send it back into the column names of advanced. You don't always have to do this, but it might pop up with something like this. And what that does is it takes the second one and adds a 0.1. So you can differentiate between the two if you want to plot it. The next thing we want to do is, you can see at the bottom, we have league averages, the 31st row. We don't want that. So what we can do is go look through this column, the team column, and find if it equals league average and remove it. And we'll remove the whole column. And this is what that does. So it looks at this team column. If it's equal to that, exclamation means take it out. And then we'll send it back into the same, once again, data frame. There we go. Now it's gone. Perfect. And then we don't want all these NAs. Just kind of, it won't do anything, but we want to clean it up just to make it as tidy as possible. And then what this column or command or line will do is remove those. There's probably easier ways to do it. I found this one online. Just kind of, like I said, trial and error of some things. So that removed those. No longer seen. And then one thing we want to do, I'm going to use the names in the plot. So I want to remove these little asterisks. What this will do is string remove the team column in all asterisks. It will remove, and then we send it back into the column to override the names that we already have. There we go. Asterisks are now gone. We have both our Premier League and NBA data. If you can hear my laptop, excuse that. Sometimes it like gets really, I'm recording and doing stuff at the same time. So sometimes it's like, sounds like it's a fan on 100%. So, but yeah, so this is the NBA code to make the plot. I'll show you at the end, both of them together, but I just want to go through the Premier League one because it's pretty much the same thing. So what we will do on our first row is, so we will use our Premier League data, pipe it. So that's saying to use that data. And we got ggplot, and then the aesthetics, x-axis, expected goals, y-axis, expected goals allowed. Then we will label it by squad, which is the column variable for the squads in the Premier League. Okay, so if we run that, we won't do anything because we haven't told it to do a scatter plot yet, but it sets up the axes or axes. So I'll leave that one. I'll come back to that. So geonPoint is the ggplot command to create a scatter plot. So we already have our axes defined here. So all we got to do is some aesthetics. So we want to fill them. I chose red just as a color. You can do whatever you want. Which will be the fill is the, I believe, the outside. It can be a little confusing. It's like backwards. So the fill is the outer ring, color is the inside of the point. This uses the prismatic package that I'll do all these because it's the same. So this kind of makes it a little less filled in. So it kind of like gives it a little aesthetic look to it. Shape 21 is a circle. You don't really need that, but I have it. You can just delete it if you want. Alpha changes the transparency of it. And then the size is just how big the circles are. So if we run this, yep, as you can see, the color, the inside is a little less stronger than the outside. So it just gives it a little, or less, I don't know what the word is. But yeah, so that's what it looks like from there. So the next one we want to do is geon text repel. So what this will do is it takes the label function, or the label, what we identify as a label, which are the squad names, and places it on the plot. So size, color, and this tells us how much length we want from the points to the labels. So if we run that, okay. After each command, you need a plus just to connect it to the next line. So yeah, it's white. You can kind of see it. Eventually I'll turn the background dark gray so it'll pop up, but that's just the line that creates that. We got to add the plus back into it. So then we're into our theme, which is, like I said in the first one, our aesthetics. I'll run it all at once because it's easier and then talk to each one. So this, it'll look a lot different. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we made legend position, which was a little thing right here. If you have make it none, it disappears. Plot background, I use grade 15. You can do whatever you want, but I think this looks great from my experience. Panel background, which is, so the plot background is here. Panel background is the actual plot, I believe. Let me make sure I'm not. Yeah. So the plot background is this part, panel is in there. So it kind of just shows the difference. The panel grid major are these lines. So it comes out each of from the breaks. And then there's minors that kind of run through here, but see, I made the element blank just to clean it up. Axis line, which is this, I made it light gray. Axis text, which are the labels, light gray, just to keep it consistent. Axis title, or sorry, axis text are like the 30, 40, 50. Axis title are the expected goals allowed, expected goals. Then I have some plot title and plot subtitle theme aesthetics commands, but we haven't given it the what to call it yet, so we'll get into that now. So labs or labels is the command for titles and subtitles. So pretty simple, title equals whatever you want to call it, comma, next line, subtitle equals whatever you want to call it. So we'll do expected goals versus expected goals allowed or Premier League teams, and then subtitle 2021. I'll change this to, that was left over from what you said, season. That was left over from. All right, so if we, here's one. And then it's wrong. So there we go. Got our title, subtitle. Really makes it look nice. You can change the color, whatever, in like the plot title. So like white's here. You can change it to whatever the size. If you don't want it bold, just delete that. And then this HJS 0.5 makes it centered. So if we had 0, it would be from the left. If we had it at 1, it would be from the right. 0.5 is right in the middle. And the last touch I'm going to give it is, you don't have to do this, but what I like to do is have, I think the right quadrant, which is usually top right, in my eyes, should show the best of what you're trying to display. So on the y-axis, the less expected goals you have, typically, or not typically, is the best. You want to have give up the least amount of chances and the least amount of goals. So I think we would rather have the smaller number up top. So the last command of scale y reverse basically reverses the y-axis. I'll run it and it's easier to see it visually. I'm not sure why this is doing this, but let's see. Just run it all, highlight it. There we go. So yeah, as you see, Chelsea, Man City, two best defenses in the league last season are now up top. Liverpool pretty much on par with Man City, but at a much higher expected goals allowed stat. So that's basically how I create scatter plots. Sometimes I just look stuff up on the internet to try to make them a little different, but this is a really good template to go off of, and you don't have to do the same colors or text or stuff like that. But I figure this is a great way for you guys to start, or even improve or change up how you do it, I guess. Not sure. But yeah, so I'll show you how I save it also. Let me pull up save them as tutorial. So yeah, I got my scrape tutorial. I will now put this back. So if we run, oh wait, I forgot one thing. So this geom smooth command, I'll run it and then show you guys what it does. So basically it runs method LM, means a linear model. And then these are color and just basically aesthetics. But what this does, it places a linear regression between the, what's the word? I'm sorry, I'm totally butchering this, but basically shows the, oh man, this is killing me. Relationship, okay, between the two. Sorry, I was thinking the word. So in here is like the 95% confidence interval. So basically what that says is you're 95% confident that based on this relationship, the average team will fall in here. So as you can see, Leeds United are an outlier. Fantastic offense, or fantastic attack, but just let in way more goals than they were expected. Based on the other teams, and then Brighton, Wolves, Chelsea for the other side. They fell above, so they let in far less goals than they were scoring, which is probably better than the counterpart in my opinion, but kind of just another look at a way to visualize it. So what we do now to save it is if you run it and place it back into an object. So we will, I don't know why it's just highlight everything. I'll post the code, it'll be fixed. But so we send it back into PL, which now has all the aesthetics. And then if you just have PL below and just run that line, which again on Mac is control return, it plots it. But it makes it easier when we save it. So GG save is a command to save your GG plots. I'm going to call it Premier League.png. Then the next you have comma, and then this you tell it which plot you want to save. We have PL here, height, width, just make it even, DPI, which is a resolution, 300 standard. Run that line. It takes a little bit, and then it goes back to where your, these are all from the last tutorial, but it goes back to where your code is saved. Click on it. There you go. There's the scatter plot that we made from the Premier League data. Obviously, see it looks different now that it's saved with an equal width and height. So you can kind of play with that, make the width longer or the height taller, I guess, whatever. I think it looks good, equidistant to each other. So it's my opinion. But now I'll show you the NBA one also. So same code pretty much, I don't think, besides the labeling and stuff. And then here we have, for the NBA data, I'm not sure why it didn't save as numeric. So whenever you use numeric variables on your axes, I just plugged that in to make sure that it converted that to that. So I don't think I changed it. It doesn't, it looks the same. But we'll run all this, just throw it back into a named NBA. Do the GG save. I'll pull up both. I deleted my. All right, here we go. And there we have it. We got your two plots. But there's the two plots side by side. Very similar stuff that's going on. It's a less notable or noticeable relationship between the two. It's less linear or less positive. Sorry, it's still linear, but so yeah, I'm hoping this helped a lot too. Like I said, like the earlier one or the first one, I'll post the code, or my guy McKay, who'll be posting this again on his YouTube channel, will put the code in the description. Hoping that I'm getting better at these, kind of preparing more for them. Once again, explaining how I've taught myself or learned in my classes. So hopefully it translates to what I'm trying to convey. But yeah, it's been awesome doing these, and hoping that you guys are learning from these. And let me know again if you guys want to see anything else specific in the next one. Definitely would be open to doing that to get you more engaged. So thanks again. This is the end of the video, I guess, and I will see you guys next time.